Cooking, folk.
Welcome to this second Supercoach Take podcast for 2020. I'm excited for this one. We're doing Midfielders Part 1. So all the midfielders are Clayton, Oliver and above in price. And joining me is Enno. How are you?
Hey, Jules, mate. What's happening?
Not much. So today we'll start off with talking about structures. Midfielders are very expensive this year. A bit of a concern, I think, because I think you can do a lot of damage if you spend too much in the midfield. So how many midfielders are you starting at the moment?
I've gone with 5 at the moment. It's always been these are the big scorers. This is where you get all your points from. They're the best players in the comp. This is who you love watching when you got them in your side. So I've always loaded up in the midfield. I've never really gone less than 5 any year I can remember. Sometimes some years, if there's other options in other lines, I've gone 6 even. So I've gone for 5 this year. What about you?
I do like deep in the midfield, that sort of approach. I've done it in the past. I've gone 7 and 6 deep
7?
previously. Yeah, I had
When
to
did you
trade
get
someone
7?
out though. That was 2 years ago. I had Matt Crouch and Kelly. I had to get rid of both of them in round 2.
I've never done
So
that yet.
it was a little excessive. It depends the quality of on-field rookies as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm thinking about 4 starting mids, heavily
Yeah.
dependent on the rookies. I feel a bit better with 5, but yeah, it does depend on the rookies. I do like the value down back, and I hate all the forward options, like every single one of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm running with at the moment, just the 4. But more than happy, if I have a 5th, it'll be Oliver. I can't really see myself spending 600k on 5 players. God forbid 6 or anything. So
Yeah. Six is out of the equation this year for sure.
just because I think the guys that are lower than 600k, it's very hard to pick which ones will average above 110 from that crop. So for that reason, I think probably your M8 would want to be, it looks like 110 or 112, whereas in previous years you'd take like a 105 or even lower sometimes. But we don't know. We'll see what happens. So now we're called Supercoach Take because we love the American take shows. And so we need to have a take. So our hot take for today, who is your number 1 midfielder?
A big call. Okay. Now this guy, I haven't owned him actually in the last 2 years. I don't think I've ever actually owned him in Supercoach. Maybe early days when he first came on the scene, but mine's Josh Kelly. I mean, if this man in 3 years he hasn't had a full preseason, if he gets one and he's fit and firing round 1, has not missed a beat, plays, he'll probably play 1 of the practice matches, but if he plays 2, if he plays the whole year, he can average 120 plus easy, which obviously you'll have to beat McRae and Neil sort of thing. But I think if he plays every game or close to every game, he can average 120 for sure. So
probably should have changed the criteria to minimum 19 games.
Wow.
But we'll speak about Kelly.
Yeah,
I don't mind that call. That's a good first hot take. For me, I'm going with Dunkley.
Ooh.
I love his ceiling, and we'll speak about him pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think he'll play midfield. I'm almost sure of it. He's proved himself enough. Yeah. Even Bevo knows by now.
If Bevo moves him out of the mids this year, then there's something seriously wrong.
We'll speak a bit more about that after. So I like Dunkley. But yeah, we'll start with. So going down in order, we'll start with 1 Jackson McRae. So is there any reason not to pick McRae?
I don't see one. He's pretty durable, other than that hammy that he got in 2018.
That was done at halftime, by the way, doing stretching.
Yeah, like that's stiff. Actually, funny story. My mate once did a hamstring bending down to pick up a box, but yeah, he's just durable. He scores 120 just by stepping on the field almost. Like he doesn't get tagged really. I know Essendon tried to tag him last year, and at quarter time he had 14 touches or something, so they just gave up. They just put Clark straight onto Bont, so you can't be worried about the tag. yeah, there's no reason not to pick him, to be honest. I know he's the most expensive, but he's just safe. He's just so safe.
He handles the tag pretty well.
Yeah.
And let's be real. Yeah, as you said, the the tag goes to Bontempelli. So for me, because I know that we have Libet and Wallace coming back, I assume they'll get a little bit of mid-time. I think they'll be pushed out, though, just because of Lipinski and Beslanka coming through. Beslanka's Bailey Smith. He'll get a few mentions on the podcast this year.
Oh, no.
But my thinking is, last year I was like, it's quite dangerous to start without McRae because the year before, the first 8 rounds, he averaged 140.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's unbelievable.
I remember what you did as well. You traded him in, didn't you?
Yeah,
Just before the injury.
the hamstring. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's. I still think it's risky to start without him. He can play a bit off half forward, so as in because of the 666, they start him off half forward a bit. And when he was doing that, I think about 30% of the time in the first third of the season, he was averaging about 114, 115. So that was only with that was when he had 58% centre bounce attendances on average every game, still averaging 115. Then he moved back. That number went into the 90s, and he's averaging 130 again.
Yeah.
So really, if they move him around a bit, he probably goes 110, 115 anyway. And then his ceiling it's probably 140. That's not going to happen, though. Just things happen. So
yeah, 130, I'd say, for sure he could.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think he's probably 125-ish, between 120 and 125.
Yep.
But big fan of McRae, and I don't see why you shouldn't pick him. Safe, durable, all that.
Yep.
Moving on, we have Lockie Neal. So Lockie Neal last year, first full preseason, and that was enough for me to lock him in.
Yep.
This year he's a bit more expensive, about 660k. I'm going without Lockie Neal this year. He is a priority upgrade target for me. I think Frico tweeted something about when Jared Lyons mid-time increased a little bit, Neal's average decreased a little bit. And not only that, Neal was getting more attention in the second half of the year.
Yeah, he's getting more tags.
I'm not sure this matters too much, but Brisbane's fixture will be a bit harder. Even though Neal plays well, he's not a downhill skier or anything. So for me, it's simple. He's durable. He's a fantastic pick, and I have nothing against the pick other than it feels a little expensive, especially when his numbers drop slightly with Lyons moving more in the midfield. And not only that, Cam Ellis-Yeoman is coming in as well. I'm not sure he takes many points away, but he's predominantly a centre bounce player, which is what Neal... I think Neal had the highest centre bounces in the entire game. If not, would have been top 3. So for me, Neal is an upgrade target. Love Lockie Neal. Love him to bits, but just a little expensive this year.
Yeah. I mean, my positioning on Neal is just him and McRae being those 2 expensive ones. You just got to pick one probably and then go with the cheaper guys. I mean, cheaper, still over 600, but fill your mids out with the other guys. I think you just... with rookies this year, the cash is pretty important. If you pick him and McRae, you're just going to be spending up real big. I mean, I've tried to make a team with them both in it, and it just doesn't really work that well. So, yeah, I mean, you'd love to start both, ideally. There's no reason for Neal not to go 120 again. He can do it easily. But, yeah, maybe there's just that slight inkling if he might get more tags and more attention after his first sort of like breakout year. I know he was already a gun before that, but, like complete breakout and him being pretty much the main man there, he might garner a heap more attention in 2020. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to have both, but you spend it up big, especially when we want to start McRae.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably 115 to 120, I would guess, for Lockie Neal.
Yeah, no question.
But you're a big fan of Lockie Neal. Now his old partner in crime, Nathaniel Fife, won the Brownlow in a landslide. I don't know how. Funny, I put $20 on him the year before, and he did he got was he suspended? I can't remember. Something went wrong with him.
Yeah, he didn't play.
I think he was.
all the
Oh no,
games.
he did the hamstring. He did
Yeah.
6 week hamstring towards the end of the year. Anyway, Nat Fife. My gut feel is a no for this. I don't know why. This is going to sound a little bit weird, but I think so. They have John, is it Longmuir, the new coach, with
Justin.
Frio.
Yeah.
Oh, Justin, John.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So Justin Longmuir. I don't know if he's a good coach or not. But I feel like Ross Lyon, the players loved Ross Lyon, and I just wonder how much they buy into the new coach. I'm talking a bit of rubbish here, but I feel like they love Ross Lyon so much that there's a lot of expectation on the new coach, and I don't know how the playing group reacts to that. This is mostly irrelevant, but I don't know why I'm saying it, but I don't know. It's just kind of a gut feel. And I think Fife might play a bit more forward, although they've been saying that for years, and he ends up in the midfield. Same with Cripps.
Yeah.
Um, he's not really an injury. Is he an injury risk? I'm not sure. Ever since he said that he's modified his training program for durability, and last year he had no soft tissue injuries. I like that about Fife. Um, but yeah, this is
Just a concussion, yeah. So he didn't really. And he had that elbow though as well, didn't he? Or he sort of came into the year with that, and it never really
uh,
hampered him.
it's just burstitis, doesn't count.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'm saying it's good. Yeah, like that stuff he can deal with. It's like the knocks and that he's durable. So it's just the hammies. But yeah, it's been a couple of years since he's done one. So anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so there's not much wrong with the pick. It's like I feel a bit like the same way about Zach Williams. I feel like something just might go wrong with him,
Yeah,
something minor that drops, that'll make him drop in price, and it is luck mostly. But for now, I'm not picking Fife. If he was a little bit cheaper, I'd lock him in, but I just can't fit him in. I like my other four primo mids at the moment.
yeah, yeah. I'm on an iron with him, but I think I won't start him either. Yeah, it's so tough. I don't know. I just don't know how Freo are going to go. They're in a bit of a weird spot with their team, new coach, like you said, and I just don't know. I just don't know how they're going to start. And like you said, I've got the other five mids I'm picking at the moment. I prefer just right now, but definitely if he's looking good during the year, upgrade target for sure.
He did have shoulder surgery after, I think it was shoulder surgery after the 2019 season, but he says I think he's fine now. He said after Christmas he'll be in full training.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure that's much of an issue, just a clean out or something.
yeah,
So considering that Fife, I think it's just my gut feel is it's just hard to back up a Brownlow year.
yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we'll move on.
Anyway,
So Nat Fife, I fully expect Nat Fife to average 120 and probably repeat this year. Play average between 115 120. Play, I don't know, miss a game here and there, something like that.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Your man, Josh Kelly.
Oh,
Talk to me about Josh.
oh, Josh. This man easily, in my opinion, has the most talent, or is the most talented midfielder in the comp. He's inside, he's outside. His left foot is immaculate. He kicks goals. He's only 24. Like seriously, this guy's. I know he gets injured, and the past 2 years really, he's been injury riddled. Like he's had countless ones. I can't even remember them all. He's had too many. But he did like the previous 2 years before the last two, so 16 and 17. He did play 21 and 22. So it's not like he hasn't done it before. It's just that it's just recent. So. But both those years, like we were saying before, he didn't have a preseason or full preseason, interrupted, start or last year. Like last year, he didn't play till like round 4, didn't he? So, or round 5.
Something
So
like that.
but if he's training all summer and in the next 2 months he has no mishaps and he goes into 2020 round 1 scot free, he's no way I'm not starting this man. And what is he, 630k? Like if something happens to go wrong and if he gets another injury in like round 8 or something, I'm happy to bank the 120 plus average. That he's going to give me that 7 weeks, and just who at that time, whoever's fallen primo or Neil Danger, whoever I don't have at that time, just swap him over. Like that's my view on him. I just think he's too good not to start if he's fully fit.
Yeah. He's far too
Agree?
talented to drop off. Just watching him last year, he was just a scoring machine, just so consistent, just ridiculous. And you were saying to me before we started the pod, his disposals they're good quality disposals as well, a bit like Bontempelli.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm picking Josh Kelly if he has a full preseason. I think the upside is pretty big. He's expensive, but we saw what he could do last year with no preseason. What's he going to do with a full preseason? So for me, I'm happy to take the risk. I mean, this pick could potentially be bait, I think, just because it's a lot of soft tissue injuries. It's
Of
groin.
course, yeah. I mean, imagine
Groin's a
round
bad
2 or
one.
3 gets something, I'll be spewing. But, I got to start him. Got to start him.
He did his hamstring in the grand final as well. I think he played through it, but he limped
Yeah.
off it in the third quarter. No one was watching by then except Richmond supporters.
I was, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
Just quickly, though, like I was saying with his, or you were saying with his disposals, like in 2016 and 17, I'm just looking at his splits. He had like average 14 kicks and 14 handballs. But in the last 2 years, he ups that to like 16 kicks a game and only like 12 handballs a game. Like he just kicks more, which for Supercoach we all know is just better.
yeah.
Long kicks inside 50 as well. He averages like 5 inside 50s a game. They're just going to score more points. So he doesn't have to rack up 40 like, say Neil does to get a good score. You can have your 25, kick a goal, 3 goal assists, and there's a 120, So that's just why I like him.
Yep. So we're picking Josh Kelly this year unless something goes wrong in the preseason.
Yeah.
So next we have Patrick Cripps. This is a lock for me. I think Carlton win a few more games. Hopefully that helps. I read an article just about an hour ago. I don't know if you saw it. It's about he dropped a bit of weight over the preseason.
Okay.
So I think his playing weight was fine before. Maybe, I don't know, he wants to drop weight for whatever reason. Maybe he wants to cover a bit more ground. I don't know.
No.
But he seemed to cover it pretty well. So I don't know if that'll be detrimental to his game at all because he is a really heavy contested player. He uses his strength a lot. But yeah, Cripps is a superstar, one of the best players in the league. He started last year really, really well. I think he was averaging 130 for the first few weeks. I think he's got the record for most Brownlow votes in the first 5 rounds, I believe.
He did,
So
yeah.
Yeah, he started really, really well. For me, 630 is a decent price for Cripps. And occasional captain option as well when you can't loop Gorn or Grundy or something. So definitely love the Cripps pick. And he'll have his down games every now and then. I get that. But he's going to score pretty heavily. Yeah, absolutely. Anything on Cripps?
I just, don't need to say much more. He's a lock for me as well. He's just, again, he's in the middle of his prime, or not, like he's 24, so he's like Josh Kelly. They're right smack in the time when they're just going to start dominating the competition. Like, this guy already has been for a couple of years, but just even more. Like, there's no reason that he's not going to continue what he's been doing. I'm locking him in. Don't need to say much more, I don't think.
Yep, throw away the keys, move on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Next we have Josh Dunkley.
Your man.
Man, do I love Josh Dunkley as a
Mr.
pick.
Carbs.
Well, I don't know. His Instagram every day is pretty much him training. He's a trainaholic.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think the issue here is Luke Beveridge. I don't see it as much of an issue because in 2019, I had Dunkley locked until a few weeks leading up, and then we didn't really know. In match sim, he was playing a bit forward, a bit midfield, and I'm like, what's going on, Bevo? Did you not see what he did towards the end of last year with Libba coming back? And Libba had a pretty good preseason as well. Even though it was a bit limited, he was coming back pretty strong, and he started the season really well, Libba. So there wasn't really much reason to change that up at that time. But I think he spent a lot more time in the midfield in 2019 than he did in 2018. I'm hoping that's enough to keep Bevo convinced that he belongs in the midfield. And I think another reason is he's the least versatile least versatile player in that midfield, just about, because he's no good as a forward. And sometimes they throw him into the ruck, but now they have Trengove, which is fine. to help out. No speaker English.
I think Dunkley would only be better than McRae in the forward line. I reckon that's about it.
No, I think McRae's a better forward than Dunkley.
Do you? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But yeah, I don't like Dunkley as a forward at all. Just watching him, I don't know, just wasn't good. Just not a natural forward, not extremely mobile like a Rosie sort of thing or anything.
Oh no.
So that's two reasons why I think he'll play midfield, and I assume he's training with the midfield group. If you hear, like I was watching a Bailey Smith interview, because that's what I do these days, and he was just saying when he goes, the person that he was talking about a lot about Bontempelli and Dunkley about, these midfielders have been helping my game sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's just another clue to say, he is a midfielder. I understand Wallace is coming in and Libba might be coming back. We'll see how he goes. He's still injured at the moment. But for me, when he was playing midfield last year, 127 average, just ridiculous. And he was 21. Oh my goodness.
Stupid.
And this is another thing. He hangs out with American celebrities. So there's no doubt in his mind, like he's big time and he knows it. When he looks at a player, his opponent in the eye, he knows, I hang out with celebrities. I don't have anything to worry about. And that for me is the tipping point for him to average 135 this year.
It's not out of the possibility. It's not. What did he average after round 7? It was like
127.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's going to another level.
Jeez,
because people think I'm half joking. People think I'm joking when I say this stuff. I'm not actually joking. I'm dead serious.
It's possible. He can average 130 easy. Like he did it for 20 or 18 rounds. Like, it's definitely possible. I just love it. It's just how much you love him. It's just funny to me. But no, he's a superstar, man. He's a superstar. He had like 35 plus touches in like 10 of those games. Like he's just a magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his contested possession count is always really high, which is sustainable for consistency at the when you want a Supercoach midfielder.
He tackles too, so that's another thing. He just does everything you need for a contested mid.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm picking him. I'm like you. I'm picking him.
So a lot of the other mids, a lot of the other mids can play wing and forward. And Dunkley, I don't think is one that they want anywhere other than in the guts.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can move on.
Yep.
Tom Mitchell. This is a hard no. Man, do I love Tom Mitchell. But again, I think the quote was, he's not at his best yet, something like that. So for that reason, I'm not paying $630 for him. By the way, he should be $560K. I don't know who signed off on him getting a 10% discount.
That's weird things going on in Supercoach this year.
Yeah.
There's like no 102K rookies. There's like 10 total across all lines. Like like players who didn't play a game last year that were 102K are like now 123. I don't get it, but that's another story.
And it makes things harder because the standard of Supercoach scoring just seems to increase every year. We're getting more 600K players every year in the midfield, so it's like we have to spend more on the bench as well. But anyway.
Titch, I'm same with you. No, like around his price, there's like 5 other guys we just ran through that are much better options and not coming off a broken leg. That's really what it comes down to. I know he's a magnet and he can easily come out first game if he's all fine and pop a 130, but like it's just all the guys around him. I'm not going to pay the same price for Titch when he's just hasn't played for a year. It's just pretty much that simple.
Yep.
I just think we can get him cheaper at some point during the year. So
hopefully he play himself into form.
Exactly.
But yeah, broken leg is a little different to ACL. ACL is a bit like innocuous, so you can't really feel it fully. You just need to just have more confidence in what you're doing with like doing switching angles and stuff like that. Whereas broken leg is, if we saw Nat 5's broken leg, I think he averaged like 105 in the year after his broken leg, and we know he's a lot better than 105. So I'm expecting 100 to, I reckon flat 100 for Titch.
110 is like he's like his ceiling.
I mean, I'm not sure. Just from what it sounds like, 110 is not hard, not easy to average at all.
No.
But we'll see how he goes. For me, he's a no. Definitely not with other players that have a lot more confidence in their preseason so far. So, love Titch, but wait and see during the year, see how he goes.
Yeah.
King Patrick, 630k or 625k. Patrick Dangerfield's going to be 30 if he's not 30 already. Not sure I love that.
It'll be
There's a
30,
study somewhere.
like round 3, to be
Okay.
exact.
There's a study somewhere that no player has ever increased their average from 29 to 30, I think. Maybe Travis Boak, but Boak doesn't count because he was a forward.
Well, he was a forward.
So as in going from 110 and then upwards from there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think that was it. Anyway, he seemed to pick up a few more injury niggles here and there, and he's got 2 kids, so less sleep, less recovery. Yeah, I think he's an upgrade target. The last 2 years, even though he was injured last year, he's dropped below 500, I think. So for me, I'm happy to skip Dangerfield. I will look to upgrade him for sure because he's Dangerfield, one of the best players we've ever had in Supercoach. But yeah, just he's getting older, picking up a few injury niggles here and there, having a few more down games here and there. Still an unbelievable player, don't get me wrong, but the standards are higher this year, and there's a few minor things that suggest he should drop in price for us. So do you have any thoughts on Dangerfield?
It's just like as the age goes on, like you were saying, his averages it's decreasing like 15 points from 17 to 18, and then another 6 points or 6 and a bit from 18 to 19. He does play. He's played 21 games and above for like the past 6 years. So I know he does miss one every season just for whatever reason, but he's pretty durable. I'm been tossing up with him and Oliver at M5. So I do want to start the 5 midfielders, like I said at the start, but it's gonna be. I don't know whether to go Patrick or Clary, which we haven't got to yet. But it's also the cheapest we've had Dangerfield since like 5 years as a starting price as well. He's been 700k for as long as I can remember. So that's another thing. You feel like you're getting a player of his caliber cheaper than you ever really have, but. Yeah, I don't know. I just gotta make a decision close to the season, I think. But I'm not against it. And I don't mind whichever way you go. I think you can start him. I think you can avoid him and get him later. I don't mind, but he's definitely a pick. Definitely a pick.
The more I think about it, if I had another midfielder, right now I have Cripps, Kelly, McRae, Dunks.
If you went 5,
if I went 5, it'd be Danger or Oliver, I think.
I know.
I'm happy to start without Danger though, because I just feel we'll drop in price. But as you said, 620k, the cheapest
Danger.
we've had him to start with. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot of value in this pick, but I still think a lot will have to go wrong for him not to be a top 8 midfielder.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Tim Kelly leaving affects him. I have no idea how that affects him at all. Probably doesn't really, but.
Well, just like it's just going to be those GWS games and Eagles games. It's just there's no option now. It's just straight to Paddy. So that's
true.
The only thing. That's the only thing. Other than that, I don't think it affects him too much.
He's usually handled tags pretty well. It's just he struggled a bit with De Boer.
That game, they both struggled.
Anyway, moving on. Fine pick Dangerfield for me, upgrade target, but nothing wrong with starting him. Marcus Bontempelli. So I think McRae and Dunkley are getting all the attention. Bont's ownership is under 10%, something like that. Definitely, I think that's probably too low for him. He's still in the prime of his career. He'd be 24 as well. I think the same draft as Kelly, I think.
Yep, I think so.
So he'd be around that age. He's captain now. Does he have to do the team thing more? I don't know. But he's the one they look to play forward more.
Yeah, he's the best forward of their mids for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is perfectly fine to pick Bontempelli.
Yeah.
Yeah, M5, now that I think about it, Danger, Bont, Oliver. That's one of the three for my other mid slot, I think. I
Yeah.
think you can. There's nothing wrong with starting all three doggies mids. I think I did it last year and worked pretty well. I think they were all top 8 players for the year, something like that. Um, but yeah, for me, I I'm a bit indifferent. I'm fine not picking him. I'm fine picking him. Um, but yeah, not expecting too much for him to change for him. Any thoughts on Bont?
Yeah, I'm not totally against starting all three doggies, but I don't know why, just something, we've all got this in our heads. You just can't have too many players from the same team. I know it really shouldn't mean much, but especially with the dogs, because they have, Daniel as well down back this year. If you had all of them, all four of them last year, you would have been dominating. So
Mm,
um, we shouldn't be totally against it, but I just think maybe if I could get him a bit later and have him for these last 12 rounds, say, and he might, have a better average, the back half and the front half, something, maybe just hoping more than anything that that might be the case. But, or you could chop and change. You could start Bont and Dunkley, for instance, and maybe hope McRae goes to a bit of a slow start and get him a bit cheaper later. I don't know. There's no wrong way to do it, I don't think. It's just we both
mm.
like McRae and Dunkley more than Bont, but I don't have
He,
anything against starting him. He's a good pick.
I think he has the last buy, so he shares that with Kelly and the other dogs players. If Kelly lasts that long,
Yeah, so that's
but
probably a reason not to, because you couldn't have four primo mids out that week. I mean, you'd
mm,
be probably
it'd be hard. I think Mitchell's got that buy as well.
yeah, you'd probably aim to get him after that.
Probably. But yeah, I think his ceiling is the lowest out of the doggies mids. But yeah, Bontempelli, Champion Data seem to love him.
Yeah, so
So
his floor is pretty nice. I mean, they're all guns. Let's be honest.
yeah. So yeah. Fine pick Bontempelli, but I don't know. I don't
He's
mind
probably
don't
he's the
mind the
pod
pick.
pick, really, of the
Yeah.
mids.
Anyway, moving on to Trelaw. I haven't seen much of this pick. Played really well last year. He fixed up his kicking a little bit. Um, for
He
me,
was,
it's a no.
I think he was top six, wasn't he? Like sixth or something in the mids. Pretty impressive. It always gets
Something
underlooked.
like that. Yeah.
Always gets underlooked.
Well, his kicking's always been his knock, and that improved in the back end of last year. So I think you could pick this if you want. For me, I prefer the other options. It's as simple as that. I haven't heard much about his preseason. Um, I'd like to know a little bit about it, just out of curiosity. But one to monitor over the preseason. But for me, I prefer the other options.
I think I'm the same. Uh, last year, after the buy, I think it was, I traded in Sloan and not him, and that pretty much hurt me the most, I think, out of all the trades, just because he went on a tear. His back 8 games were just like 120, or it was at least 115, I'm pretty sure. So yeah,
Yeah, might have
I
been
don't know.
more than that actually.
Honestly, it might have been a lot, yeah. And Sloan was like 105, so that hurt a bit. But no, I don't like Bont. Nothing against him, but yeah, like you said, just prefer the others at this stage.
Yep. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Clary. So he's
Sorry.
we've so basically this pod we're doing the 600k plus midfielders, but we feel like Oliver belongs in this group.
Yeah.
So this is our last player, Clayton Oliver. I don't mind this pick. I think his Clang account is so high, it's disgusting. He needs to fix that. Um, but yeah, like in the contest, he plays at such a fast pace, which forces him to make mistakes. And his teammates are similar in the way that they make a lot of mistakes as well. So poor delivery in the forward line. So his kicking efficiency, don't think it was the best, but I know he had a lot of clangers. So if he can fix that up, and also last year he had the shoulder surgery, I'm sure he could do all the fitness stuff, but would have been limited doing match sim and maybe some skill stuff as well.
Yeah.
So a better preseason. One thing that bothers me about Oliver is that one of his teammates said that he eats lots of junk food before games, and that can it when you're young, or I think he's like 22 or something. When you're really young, it doesn't really affect you, but it does catch up with you. Maybe
Yeah.
he's immune to it. Maybe he'll be fine. But some people, everyone's different, sort of thing. But that I don't like that. That doesn't sit well with me. Not that it matters too much, but anyway.
Nah, he's a
Uh,
good pick. He's a good pick.
anything to add on Clary?
Um, like last year I picked him thinking Melbourne were gonna, continue on with their 2018 that they had, and we all know the story, obviously. And he still managed to play 22 games and average 109, tick under 110. And if that's his down season and Melbourne's down season, then the sky's the limit for this bloke. He can get easily back to 115. I even think he's possible to 120. It's just down to how his team's going, and he was getting frustrated last year because I started him and I was early outdoors. They were like 1-4 or whatever they were, and he's copped the tag against Carlton, I think, and he just cracked the sads and just gave up. Like he just didn't go near the foot. He wasn't working out of the tag. None of his teammates were working for him. So it was a mess. So surely they can turn it around. Like surely Melbourne are going to be back on top this year, or at least competing better than what they were last year. They're not a bottom three side like they were. They should be pushing for finals. So there's value. 590k, there's value. That's all it is. He's a 600k plus player, like we said, and 593 is unders for him.
Yeah, that list shouldn't be bottom three.
Nah.
They have key position problems, but that's another story. And Angus Brayshaw, I don't know what happened to him. That's for another day. So I think Melbourne's preseason, by the sounds of it, it's all rainbows and lollipops over there, apparently. They seem to be loving their preseason at the moment, positive vibes and everything. So I guess that's how you feel when there's no pressure on sometimes. But you'd expect some sort of improvement from
Some
Melbourne
sort of
for
response.
sure.
Just a response.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he can go 115.
Yep.
Oh, he can definitely go 115. It's just needs to put the pieces together, I think. Still
Yep.
very young. Has Gorn rocking to him still in his prime, which is awesome as well. So yeah, fine pick Oliver. I think, yeah, monitor him over the preseason, but so far his preseason would be gone, I assume, better than last preseason anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all. So that is it for Midfielders Part 1. We'll be doing Midfielders Part 2 pretty soon. Probably will be the next pod.
Yep.
But just thinking, these are the guys you kind of want in your eight midfield slots.
Yeah. These
Under
are going to be the
this,
top ones.
there could be one or two that sneak in. I'm not sure, but we'll speak about those guys next pod. But yeah, you'd be happy with these guys if eight of the 11 we spoke about were in your final team.
Yep. For sure.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, George. Good stuff, mate. It's ramping up. It's getting close.
We got leagues going as well, so
Yeah, started those today.
we'll be releasing those in future podcasts. So tune in for those.
Jump on the Discord, and if you want to be in one of George's leagues, get on YouTube and put alerts, mate. Put alerts onto his channel because he'll be uploading and releasing leagues and stuff through his videos. So if you want to be part of it, get into it.
Too kind of you, Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.